Hey, what's going on? Can I talk you into, joining the podcast since you just drove onto the set? So,
Gloves off or gloves on?
I think off because you'll be doing the exercises.
Okay, why am I here today? I have questions of how to take care of our hands when riding. Something called throttle fatigue, how to avoid it, or what could I do after a long day of riding if my thumb is hurting?
I've had a few patients complain about that, and it really boils down to an endurance issue, holding that throttle, and then also the second piece is pulling the thumb out to reach control. There's some good conditioning exercises that you can do on the days that you're not riding to increase the endurance of those muscles that are handling the throttle and your controls. One thing is using a hammer to strengthen multiple muscles at once. If I could...
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Just so happened that I am carrying a hammer.
Perfect. Wow. This works out really well.
Okay.
So using this, when you're squeezing the hammer, you're working your grip. And then when you turn it palm down, you're working the muscles that do this, that open the throttle, okay? When you turn it palm up, you're working the muscles that bend your wrist toward your palm. So just simply holding it up straight, elbow tucked into your side, slowly turning it palm down and palm up. When you're turning it palm up, you're even working your biceps. So the main message here is that it's working many muscles at the same time. And on your days off, you can do this to light fatigue and adjust the weight. So if you need less weight or more weight, and keep a good grip, don't let it bottom out on your ligaments, but just stop shy, control it all the way down. You can sprain your wrist easily if it drops down, but just control it. And also some isometrics too. You can just sit here and hold that until it gets tired. Now, with the thumb, the main thing here is I wouldn't really do any exercises against this because it's already getting exercise inside the glove, just opening it to get on the controls. But after riding, putting that under cold running water or just gliding an ice cube directly over it, 10 to 20 seconds, that's all you need. Only until the tissues feel deeply cold, then you're done. That's actually more effective than an ice pack for 10 minutes. Quick and easy, 10 to 20 seconds.
So with the hammer exercise, do you recommend doing it before they see? I just
keep your elbow tucked right in.
Let me get off the bike. Okay, so here.
Tuck that elbow right into your ribs. There you go.
Okay.
Hold that hammer nice and straight. Good. And slowly turn it palm down. That's far enough. And then slowly turn it palm up. Control it down. That's far enough. And then back down. That's good. Back and forth, nice and slow and steady. You can also do isometrics where when it's down here like this, I would keep it at a little bit of an angle. Hold that position, don't let it fall. Hold tight. And then it'll start getting a little bit shaky when your muscles get tired.
I noticed that I tend to pull my elbow out.
Yes, because you're activating your shoulder. But this is working muscles of your forearm and your wrist and your hand. So we're isolating that. So hold that position. And then the opposite is you're going to hold this position right here until it gets tired. These palm up, those are naturally stronger muscles. So let's add more weight. So an interesting fact is if this is 12 inches from the head of the hammer, and this is a 1 pound hammer, now you have 12 times 1, so you have 12 inch-pounds of force through your muscles. So now this 1 pound hammer is now a 12 pound hammer as far as your muscles.
And this is only for the palm up.
That's correct. When you turn a palm down, now you're gonna tell me that, does that feel, that's a lot harder to do, isn't it?
Yes.
Those are naturally weaker muscles. So now let's choke up on the handle. And that feels better, right?
Yes.
But still a good challenge. Then you're going to hold that position until it gets a little bit tired.
So this before riding?
Before riding, I would do that on your days off.
Okay.
And I want to do it before you're going to go on a trip because, why fatigue yourself on the same day that you're going to go on the trip? Do it on off days. If a person were to do that once or twice a week, you would go to the gym 2 or 3 times a week. Same thing. You'd strengthen a couple times a week. Now, if maybe next time you come, I'll ask you to bring a dumbbell so I can show you some dumbbell exercise. Don't tell me.
I will tell you.
I think
I was prepared today, man. Look at this.
Oh my goodness. Oh, yeah. I could also use a shoebox full of $100 bills,
Do not have that.
Oh, you don't
around,
have that.
no.
You just have it. So let's focus on those muscles that do the throttle. okay?
Okay.
So you can support yourself here below your wrist and just work those wrist muscles. You're going to hold that here for a few minutes until you get tired. And that is just like a throttle handle. And what you're doing is you're conditioning those muscles that open the throttle, and you're getting yourself accustomed to holding that position for a relatively long period of time. So this is 5 pounds. That's a really solid weight. So to hold that, tuck your elbow into your side, support yourself below your wrist right here. Good. And hold that position. That feels pretty heavy, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. Hold it up there. All right.
Let me always supporting.
Always supporting. So that really isolates those wrist muscles. And in order for that to not fall, this is all contracting, anchored right there at your elbow. And that is really conditioning those muscles that are working that throttle. That's a great exercise.
Just doing this is good too?
You can do that too. So holding it, which is you're recreating, cruising down the road. If you were using your cruise control, you're holding that manually. Also, you can do some back and forth. You can do some repetitions just to fatigue. That'll start to burn and feel really, really tired.
Yes.
Just stop there.
I can feel it right here.
Yeah. And then after that, you can relax that. Mm-hmm. And then you can do some stretches. So bring it right out here, bend your wrist down, come over here and push on your hand. Good. You hold a light stretch. That's stretching these muscles. That's stretching your wrist muscles because these control your wrist. Now, let's stretch your finger muscles. Make a fist. Reach underneath, grab your fist. Now you're going to let all of this relax and you're going to pull it down. Now you're stretching your finger muscles. Those muscles, when they contract, that feels good? Mm-hmm. Great. Those muscles, when they contract, they do this. So you're lengthening all of that. And it's these muscles that want to cramp up when you're out on the road and you're driving, you're not using the cruise control, you're holding that, just anything will cramp up. Right. Shoulders. So everything we do is in front of us, including driving the motorcycle. Let me get out of your way. Yes. Right? So people tend to get in a forward rounded position, but what's the opposite of that? Back like this. So whether you're working at a desk or you're driving a motorcycle or you're a biker on a 10-speed, long range or everything we do is in front of us. So I call it a big yawn stretch. So just come back and open up the chest. That stretches your pecs muscles. It stretches the shoulder capsules. And sometimes putting your hands behind your back and just straightening the back because your spine is forward flexed as well. And what does that do? That pushes the discs to the back of your spine. We can get into that another time. I also do a lot with ergonomics. So this is a good ergonomic question versus, regarding optimally using your body and saving your body, preserving your joints for long term. So get back here, straighten the back and come back like this. Sometimes hands behind the head, just open up. Literally the opposite of what we're doing all day long.
So it was great running into you today, getting all these new tips and things that I can apply for my riding habits. Have friends that want to get in touch with you or learn more about your content. Where should they look?
They should look on carlpetito.com. Also on YouTube, the Hand to Shoulder Solution, giving pain the middle finger. There you go, guys. Carl is a great resource for information of how to take care of your hand to your shoulder.